write any random numbers into it, like inside the list, like 2, 3, 40, 50.
Ordered or not?
Any. Write any, like 5, 6 more. Okay, so right now you have to iterate a list, but you have to iterate in such a way that whatever sum I want, like for example, I want a sum of 5. So at what point I will be getting a sum of 5? So you have to return a index of those two numbers.
Okay. So index of, so it would be a substring like this, no? So let's say 2 and 3.
Only two numbers you can do. So that would be equivalent to 5.
Okay. No, so it is like.
Similarly, I can ask for any other also. So for example, if I ask for 21, so what two numbers you would add up to make it a 21? So
Okay. It is like two numbers from this particular list which we can add up to get it to 21, right? Okay. And is it not? It is not like between two indexes. It is like of those two indexes, right?
yeah, and you can add two numbers only. You cannot do more than two.
Okay. Got it. So basically, I'll just write that problem. Two indexes whose sum is k, right? And k would be given. Supposedly for now.
You can also share your pseudocode or whatever you are thinking.
Yes. So first would be a brute force algorithm. So basically, I would be taking one number and then basically trying each and every number and what. Yeah. So one more question: is there only one solution, or can there be multiple solutions?
There can be multiple solutions to every problem, right?
No, solution as in this particular area.
There can be multiple. Yeah, there can be.
There can be multiple answers.
Yeah.
But do I have to written all of them or one? The first one.
The first one.
First one. Okay, cool. So brute force algorithm would be just if I fix this particular number and then reiterate over the remaining list and keep just matching it over. If this adding this and seeing over that if the number is coming to 21 or not, and whatever comes up, that would be my answer. So the space complexity here would be n square, and n would be the length of the list, basically. And but that is a brute force algorithm.
That would be space or time? That would be space complexity or time?
Time.
Okay.
Yeah, time complexity. Space complexity wouldn't be anything. It would be big O of 1 since we are not using any extra space in here. Okay, so that would be a brute force algorithm. That would be a brute force solution to this. Okay. Second is how we can basically memorize this particular answer or particular solution. Memorize it. So the
Sorry. Yeah, what do you mean by memorize?
So basically we can memorize as in we can keep a copy, we can keep track of somewhere this particular list number, this particular number we have already processed, and that is the other number. We just need to find it out. So if we can just have basically if we can remember that somewhere, so that would be a good solution, and that would basically we should reduce down our time complexity. It would always be increase our space complexity, but yeah, that is a trade-off that we can have.
Okay. So which
Yeah.
way you want to go?
Yeah, no, first is very brute force, so that would be solved, but yeah, that is not a very good solution. So I'll try to go with the second one. So for this, what I can do is I'll maintain a dictionary, a Python dictionary here, and which will bec- uh, basically keep a track of whatever the solution, whatever the number is already present in the array, and I can do a lookup of that particular dictionary, and that will give me the basically the lookup time would be big O of 1. Since for any dictionary lookup in Python dictionary lookup, the complexity is big O of 1. So yeah, that will basically end that, and by that way, maybe I'll just iterate the array once, and the space complexity can be big O of n, and so the time can be big O of n, right?
Okay. Can you just try writing the code so we can
Sure, sure.
complete this and we can move on. So syntax is okay. You can also write a pseudo code or something.
And I have to give the index, right?
Yeah, you have to get the index of both.
Sure.
So you have used D dot keys, right?
Yes.
But you have to like put up something into dictionary also, right?
Yeah, I'm just writing conditions. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an empty dictionary up until now. I'll just use an if condition here, and we'll use an else. Yeah. If k minus l of I. Okay. If is 21 minus 1. D dot is I आ गया. And second would be नहीं होगा.
This will be having how much complexity?
So time complexity would be big O of n and space also big O of n.
Okay.
Since you would be using dictionary, and that would be taking up extra space, and the time also we'll be using only one iteration.
Okay. Got it. So, okay, let's move to next question. So this is okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
mostly in big data we use list and string. So I'm just checking those things. So this is the input and this is the output. So pretty much easy problem. You just have to check like if the word is repeating like from the back.
Palindrome.
Not palindrome. We call it anagram. I'll give you one more example.
Yeah.
So the first one is false. The second one is true because from last it's repeating the same. Like it have equal number of words, kind of.
No. Can you just repeating the number of the
When
number of
you
different characters are same?
so when you rearrange that, it would be same.
Okay. So basically, um, the alphabet are same, right? The number
Hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. When rearranging, it will give the same, right? Yeah. Okay.
Think about it. Like you can solve it in one line also in Python.
Okay. Okay. Yes. The basic solution would be to maintain two dictionaries
Hmm.
and then basically iterating over each of them and
Hmm.
maintaining the count of each alphabet versus the key would be the alphabet and the value would be the count of that particular alphabet. Okay, and then after at the end comparing those two dictionaries are equal or not.
Okay. What will be your first thing? Like, how would you check? Like, if you are checking two strings, what would you check first?
Okay, the first would be the count. If the
Huh.
count, if the number, if the length is same or not. If the length is different, then it goes off. First of all, okay, we can have that to particular that definitely we can have the count of number of characters there.
Hmm.
If the length is unequal, then straight away it goes off. If the length is equal, then we enter into that particular scenario where we now need to calculate. And yeah, that is one probable solution. We can basically count the number of characters, each characters, and then match the two dictionaries.
So you will use a
Okay.
loop for that.
Yes, I will be using first. There would be a single loop
Hmm.
to basically I loop over all the characters and then maintain the dictionary for this particular string first string. Then second string also I will loop it over and maintain the separate dictionary for that.
Hmm.
Or otherwise I could also use a single dictionary. Basically I'll loop over the first string, maintain a dictionary for it, and then for the second string basically I use that again same dictionary um, and basically what I shall say that I'll decrease basically the count for
Hmm.
for whatever for all the characters that are that are coming in this particular dictionary. And for any two cases I'll be just if the value becomes any negative or if there is any new addition to the dictionary, and for any new case I'll just return it as false, otherwise I'll go till the end until it's true. So by
Okay.
this way, I will be maintaining only one dictionary and looping it over, yeah, twice.
So you will have two loops or single loop?
No, no, I will have two loops. Two
So
loops I will have.
complexity,
So complexity would be of n only. N is the
why?
length of the string.
You will do one by
So
one.
yeah, yeah, one by one it would be.
Okay.
Yeah, one by one, and the lookups and the dictionary lookups will be big O of one only. So one first would be addition, and second would be, yeah.
Any other solution? Like you
Okay.
can use any functions in Python, Spark, SQL, anything.
Okay. Function. Basically.
Like we need to solve it little faster, or
Okay.
maybe easy way.
Well, yes. No, basically, but that I'm not sure if it would be a good solution because if I can sort this and then get it equal, that would
Mhm.
be a good solution. No.
You can try that.
Mm. No, first I'll sort this particular string S, then the
Hmm.
string 1 S1, then S2, and then
Hmm.
see if they are equal or not. But
Hmm.
internally, that wouldn't be a good solution because then sorting would again be a low complexity. If Redux sort is also used, then
Hmm.
also it would be
Hmm.
greater than n, and then again comparing in a single loop. So yeah, the space would be, so it depends. If we want to save the space, we can use that particular Redux sort as dot sort function in Python.
Which
And
sort function?
then sorry,
Which sort function?
Redux sort. Redux Python internally uses that. Right?
So you would
Uh,
use Python function only, but it internally uses Redux, you're saying. I'm asking you, like the sort function would be the Python sort function or any other sorting you will be using? You're not audible, you're on mute.
Audible now?
Now audible.
Yeah, I don't know. Python function only. That would be Radix. Radix that uses Radix sort and Tim sort. So that is a very good option in itself.
Okay, so got it. So what's the complexity of that?
So that would come out the sort would be n log n, or yeah, and that again a loop would be there. So it would be n log n, but there would be any space. And in this particular solution which I propose, so there would be space would also be a constraint. So big O of n space and big O of n time.
Okay, so first solution you proposed was with two loops, separate loops, and the second one is with sorting, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
First approach, and space also was big O of n, and second time would be big O of n log n, and space would be big O of 1. So yeah.
Okay. I'm pasting one question that is on SQL. That is also simple, so we'll start with that. So try solving it. Just find the second highest salary.
Okay. Second highest salary employee table. Second highest salary is 200. Huh? Okay. Mm. I can use a row function here, add a row number column, and then
Hmm.
n equals to 2. Basically, row number equals to 2.
Can you write
Yeah,
that?
yeah, sure. Mm. Yeah. This.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, I haven't exactly followed the syntactics here. I've added ID row column, but yeah, I can use a CT. You want?
No, no, that is okay. That's
Hmm.
fine. Okay. So, uh, okay. SQL is okay. Like in SQL, let's move on to data modeling, some of the things. So,
Yes.
do you have idea about OLAP, OLTP?
Yes, I have.
Just to share a difference, like what's that?
Okay, so OLTP are basically transactional system as the online transactional processing and online analytical processing.
Hmm.
So what is the difference basically? OLTP is our transactional systems like MySQL, Oracle, and all those stuff which have asset properties in it and which are used for transactional system like day-to-day businesses and all. And while OLAP is a much newer form for it, which is mainly responsible for big data and querying, and that is in data warehousing. And so the modeling techniques are different in it, as with respect to as we have much more normalized forms in OLTP systems, and as compared to we have denormalized forms in OLAP systems. So in OLAP system, we have two main star and snowflake schemas. We have two main pattern that we follow, and that comes. And one of the major is in OLTP system we have a row based column. We have row based storage, and in OLAP system we have column based storage. And that comes by the very fact that OLAP system we have very much data to query from. Hence, we there came a technique to use column as a storage format.
Can you share like what databases you have used under OLAP and OLTP?
Yeah, OLTP I have used MySQL and Postgres, and OLAP I have worked under the Snowflake. Yeah, Snowflake and mainly yeah Snowflake as a data warehousing system, and otherwise I have used uh, basically different data lakes and powered by Hive tables.
Okay, got it. Okay, so that is okay. So next would be I was thinking to go ahead with system design. So just one question, we can go ahead with that. So simple one, like you just have to explain me like just consider WhatsApp maybe, or you can consider Instagram also. So whatever you are comfortable with, you have to share like how many tables you would be creating and how you would be normalizing the tables. Like if you are the first one who is starting Instagram from scratch or WhatsApp from scratch.
Okay, cool. Let's say we'll go with Instagram as of
Hmm.
now. So this data modeling would be with respect to OLTP or OLAP first.
OLTP.
OLTP systems. Okay.
So you
Okay.
have to design everything like how the data would be saved and everything.
Okay. Data would be received.
Saved like if I'm
Acha.
uploading a picture or if I'm commenting out everything.
Okay. So data modeling and OLTP system first of all, and what all functionality is. So I'll just write it down, right? So let's say a user uploads a picture, right? User
Hmm.
creates an account first of all. Uh, User uploads the picture, right? Mm, it is search user search, no, or then they can be okay. Mm, the user creates an account, user uploads the picture, and is a static content or user uploads video content. Upload the reels and okay. So these all functionalities, let's say, or anything else.
Uh, yeah, let's end here. So how many tables you would create for each?
Yeah, sure. First of all, the basic would be a user table. Okay, I'm just thinking out loud right now.
Mm-hmm.
Then second would be user table would be there. Then would be the content table, and it could have basically it could have both the picture and the video content, the static and the dynamic content.
Hmm.
So that is it. Now the third would be
Also write the columns, like what columns you can think of.
yeah, I will write. I'll just first of all trying to write down what all tables would be need, and then we'll start on basically.
Okay, sure.
The user would be there, the content would be there. Mm, first of all, then yeah, metrics can be one, or the likes and dislikes. Metrics can be one. Okay, cool. ID. There can be certain metadata columns would be there in all ID created at, updated at, and all those.
Hmm.
I'll just write it down. This would be common. Created at, updated at. Created by and all this. Okay. Now second is would be the address or the user metadata columns. Address, age, uh, and the third can be the type of content he likes to visit. यूजर का एज हो गया, कंटेंट हो गया, ये हो गया. Yeah, this is I'll just write it down if any other comes to my mind.
Yeah, also think of a fact and dimension table, like how would you divide? Right?
Okay, this for OLAP system, no? That this is for
For there
OLTP.
also you need to keep static data one side and dynamic data other side, right?
Yeah, no, but this is we are designing for OLTP system, right? We are not
Hmm.
designing for OLAP. For
Hmm.
OLAP, I'll be looking it into different modeling, as in facts and dimensions, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Content ID.
I was asking that because you wrote type on the first user part. That's why the type can be multiple.
Okay. I am here. I wrote is type of content he likes to visit. In certain type of content, no? मतलब 2,
Hmm.
3.
Yeah, go ahead with content.
Yeah. ID. Then user ID. Foreign key. This primary key. Content. Type. Static. Dynamic. Video. Photo. Reel. Status. इस 3 पाथ हो गया। कंट्रोल टू पे encoding type of encoding is one.
If you have created it, updated it, and everything in all the 3 tables, can you just give me the reason?
Okay, so this is the when was this entry created, and
Hmm.
if at all this was updated at any time. mm, So we want to do any manual intervention. So let's say we we have this particular query that that the user has updated his profile
Hmm.
at this particular time. So we'll keep a timestamp. Okay, so this user was created at this particular time, but the last update happened, and the profile update happened at this particular time. And created by is generally basically kept for a reason that there for internal usage, as in who was the team that was managing this particular so that is kept created by, just to keep a check of the internal metrics, internal
Okay. So
responsibility.
that will be updated in any table at the same time.
Created by, yes, yeah. So for any API, so let's say so if the same team or the same person is being done, then it would not be. Otherwise, if a different team, then the API would itself handle this case. So let's say
Hmm.
the created by is updated. So yeah. Also, I will keep ID, profile, मतलब, the user ID and all. But ठीक है नहीं, profile I wouldn't keep since it is not very changing. So activity, this is a very frequent table. So for in content ID, just keep it, and I would like to keep this particular activity table as normalized as possible, since there'll be frequent read and write here, or writes here, frequent writes.
Hmm.
Yeah. User apply.
Where will you keep the private information?
Mm, okay, your user passwords and all that.
Hmm.
Okay, yes. That I'll have to create a separate table. I'm just not getting any word, so I'll just keep it at password as of now.
Hmm.
There can be a number of things here. Hmm.
That would be user ID, password, only two things.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. User ID, password. These field would be there, created and updated at. Yes, I think so.
Hmm. Okay. Created it, updated it. You have kept it everywhere. Email ID, full pic. Okay. So content, activity, and you would not mention save any history.
History as in browsing history.
Uh, Anything like you have to save, right? Like with respect to content, with respect to other things also.
Okay, no. So for let's say a particular like event happened, so there would be a new entry in here. Although this is not a very good choice to keep it as here, because for this like dislike comment we generally use NoSQL sort of database, so that the schema is where the schema is not defined and such. But yeah, so for every, so there could be enum would be a like, is it at a dislike and all. And when it comes to aggregation, so we can
Mhm.
aggregate from here. But yeah.
Okay, so this is for OLTP, right? Okay, so if you need to convert it, like get this data and put up some summary in OLTP, how would you do? Like which table you would use?
Okay, so first of all, so what are the rules basically that we need to, let's say certain operation, if I were to give for any basic operation, I would like, let's say take it as a, uh, the engagement on a particular content, right?
Take one only right now.
Okay, so yeah, for then any particular content, I would take this particular one. Hmm. Mm, this particular activity table, and will group by it on content ID, and will keep up different columns. I'll just activity metrics. So content ID. Likes and dislikes and comments and फिर replies हैं, फिर reach है, and Just so that I would be also needing engagement on a particular content, and since this is a very big, so I will also join the user data here, and uh, will try to keep one big table where I will the type of content also will join, will try to join this particular content table also.
Hmm.
And keep it at a particular location so that it can be retrieved. And yeah, this and also if I would be also needing, because to showcase on the feed I would be needing for a particular user, because the usernames also comes up. So yeah, user table also could be joined. User table would be, and I could get the user ID from this particular content table only. And uh, now, since this table we would be joining with this particular, yeah, we can keep this particular and keep the user table as a dimension table, and for every fetching or we can basically do a join over here.
Join with.
Join with user table.
Okay,
Or
so you'll be getting all of these tables and uh, okay, just you are reading a data and then creating a data warehouse particularly related to this or a data lake.
yeah, this should be a fact table. Activity fact, and there would be a user dimension table.
Okay.
Because since this would be used basically for dashboarding purposes, so yeah, user information.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, and just share in short, like in a minute, like what infra would you like to use and why?
Okay, what infra for?
Tables and OLAP, OLTP both, mostly the databases.
Okay. So since this would be a very heavy read operation, so the read would be much more as compared to the writes. Writes would also be there, but
Hmm.
as compared, so I can, the read would be very much heavy. It would be a read heavy system, and OLTP system, like traditional relational databases. Okay, so there can be multiple choices. Relational databases, NoSQL. So NoSQL would incur very much cost if we use NoSQL databases, right, as it is. But yeah, for this content type, let's say this content type or this activity metrics, there we can use CouchDB, Cassandra. For these metrics, we can use Cassandra column store, since the amount of fetching that would be done, since it's a
Hmm.
column based storage, so the fetching can be much more quicker as here. It can be, yeah, so the data can be read much more quickly if we use something like a Cassandra, since it's a column based storage as a
Hmm.
NoSQL Cassandra. You know, and for storing the user metadata and stuff, since it will be used other multiple other places also, so we can keep it in a MySQL databases. So for this particular service or this particular thing, there can be different services. Yeah, so MySQL relational for this. Definitely for passwords, that MySQL, and for content also. For activity, we can use a NoSQL database like Cassandra.
Hmm.
Yeah, and for this OLAP system, OLAP, this one, so we would have to use you can use a data warehouse, or a matrix is there, data lake. Okay. ठीक है, we would have to use a data warehouse or a data lake house here. And for a data warehouse, we can deploy we can deploy a solution like Snowflake or Hive managed tables.
Hmm.
Or if we were to use for data lakehouse, then we can go for a Databricks solution or Delta tables. Yeah. Or Hoodie and Iceberg can also be a solution, but yeah, I am not very sure on that front.
What did you tell on the data warehouse part?
Data warehouse, we can use either Snowflake,
Hmm.
or we can basically use Hive managed tables.
Okay. What would you choose? Data warehouse or data lakehouse here?
I would, since the data is a bit unstructured also here, so we would like to use the capability of both data
Hmm.
lake and data warehouse. So data lake house is what I would prefer.
Okay.
Yeah. Because asset
Was
compliance also would be needed, because asset also, and since the storage cost would be also, because the too much of amount of data would be generated. So keeping in fact of the asset compliance and the storage also, and also the small file problem that we encounter basically in streaming applications.
okay. Got it. So you have worked on Kafka also, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So you have worked with structured streaming or which where how you work with Kafka?
Uh, no, no, I have spoke with the streaming application, streaming and structured streaming only. Yes. So basically, my project. So basically, We got the data. We got any updates. We use the Debezium connectors to read the CDC events, and then
Hmm.
for every event, we basically produced that particular event in Kafka. And from Kafka, it is being consumed by the consumers and then put into the data lake.
Okay, so there are a lot of message queues, right, in market like RabbitMQ and AWS has another Kinesis.
Mhm.
Kafka is also there, Confluent is also there. So on what basis would you choose for the event-based platform? Like you would choose Kafka, RabbitMQ, how would you choose?
Okay, okay. So Kafka is a pub sub model, works on the pub sub model, whereas RabbitMQ works on the event queue, man. So what I mean is that so in a system like in a pub sub model, basically we produce the event, and there can be multiple consumers to it.
Hmm.
And there can be multiple consumers, so matlab a single message can be consumed by multiple consumers based on their requirements. And while as let's say we would deploy a solution like RabbitMQ or some RabbitMQ, where every event is consumed only by one particular consumer. So let's say if we want to build an application where we want to send a notification, or let's say where we want to send an email, a bulk email or something like that, then I would deploy a solution like RabbitMQ, because that an email task is being created, or a notification task is being created, and that has
Hmm.
to be only once. Yeah, so that would be more helpful over there. And as compared to a Kafka, so let's say if we want to have this message transfer and asynchronous message transfer from one place to another place, so that it can be consumed by other applications, we would use something like a Kafka. So it works on basically different models, PubSub model and messaging queues.
Okay, so
That-
with respect to Kafka, can you just explain a simple high-level architecture like producer, consumer, offset? How does it produce, consume everything?
Sure, I can do that. So Kafka has basically four or five main components. I'll just speak out loud and then. So one is
Hmm.
the publisher that publishes, and no, one is the from one end there is publisher, second end there is a consumer, and in between there we have the Kafka cluster. And in those Kafka cluster we have multiple machines that are referred to as Kafka workers. And
Hmm.
in, for any logical separation that we have topics in that, and each topic basically define a particular type of event that can be sent through that particular topic only. So let's say we have four different type of data points, and data point that we need to transfer from one point to another, from publisher to consumer. Then we will have four different type of topics there.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and in topic we have this logical separation of partitions. So what partition does is basically it it keeps it's a logical partition, and what it helps consumer basically it can spawn that multiple number of thread, so that parallelism can be achieved and there can be distributed process, not distributed, but there can be parallel processing can be enabled so on that number of threads, and we can read the messages more quickly there. So hence the concept of partitions comes over. Yeah, for better processing and for improved processing latency.
Hmm.
Yeah, that comes into picture. And just to on a very high level nutshell, so Kafka in itself is it's a database only. And when I say that, it uses the concept of write ahead log file. So what happens is it just log files that are being appended for every write. A log file is being appended, and
Hmm.
it is being maintained by the offset. Offset is basically, when you ask of offset, it is the basically the point at which a particular topic a consumer consumed at particular message from a particular topic,
Hmm.
and that is basically the offset. Offset is the point at which a particular consumer last consumed a message from a particular topic. So and that is being maintained by the Kafka cluster, and we also use it in conjunction with Zookeeper. So Zookeeper basically maintains this information. Hmm. And Kafka in itself a database, it has a retention period. So what happens is, let's say the retention period by default is 7 days. If
Hmm.
we have data prior to 7 days, those particular log files that are being generated, all theirs would be erased off, and only the last 7 days data would be retained in the memory. Yeah. And when it comes to Kafka, so also the Kafka is a de facto standard that is being mainly deployed nowadays to all these applications because of two main reasons, I would say. One is that Kafka supports sequential IO, and secondly, it has a write zero copy mechanism. A write
Hmm.
zero copy mechanism. So these are two major factors which help Kafka to be one of its kind and in the industry standard. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So, you- there is a mechanism called retention in Kafka. So, how many types you can do a retention? Like, uh, can you just share, like, if you have worked on that?
Okay, how many types, as in you are saying the
How
retention
many
by,
ways you can do it?
okay, retention is by number of days.
Hmm.
It can be retention by number of bytes.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, number of bytes retention can be there, number of days can be there, and
Hmm.
I'm not very sure if number of log files is also there, or the number of log files. But yeah, these two I know of. Number of
That is
days.
based on size only, right?
Yeah, number of basically size or the amount number of files also. I'm not very sure. I just assume that third one, but yeah, first two I have worked on.
Okay. So, time, how do we decide? Like, we can keep anything maximum.
Yeah, we can keep anything. We can be keep infinite anything that we want.
Hmm.
Kafka, and we can keep anything, but by default it is 7 days, and we can keep it as minimum as possible. It is totally on the business requirement that we have.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Uh, Other thing is like you told Zookeeper, right?
Hmm.
Uh, how does it come into place? Can you just share?
Okay, yeah, sure. So basically, Zookeeper Zookeeper is a different technology altogether. So
Hmm.
there are is Kafka and other distributed. So these work on distributed architecture.
Hmm.
So these have so there are multiple machines that are there are multiple machines there are multiple machines working in conjunction with each other and maintaining a basically a distributed pattern or distributed form. And
Hmm.
to maintain the metadata, so just in case we cannot, so for maintaining such a distributed system or such a distributed architecture, we have to maintain a metadata also somewhere at some place. So this can be done at one of the machines only, but let's say in case of a failure, if the cluster went down or if that particular machine went down,
Hmm.
so that would be a total system failure, and that would be not be a very good solution to have.
Hmm.
So Zookeeper comes into picture. So basically, it handles, in a nutshell, it handles all the metadata required for the proper functioning and to maintain the, and it captures the state of the distributed system for any distributed system. So Zookeeper, so Kafka also uses Zookeeper to maintain its metadata. Yes, of its distributed architecture of the cluster information.
Hmm. Okay. So Spark also uses it or not?
Yeah, and Spark does not. Spark can use it. Zookeeper. Zookeeper is a different technology altogether, and it can be used with any distributed application. Yeah, but it is not a very well practiced thing to use Spark Zookeeper with Spark. But yeah,
Okay.
it can definitely be deployed and it can be used.
Okay. Okay. Two last questions, then we can end the interview. So in
Sure.
Spark, we have something called resource management, memory management. How does it handle that?
Okay, resource management and memory management. Okay. Resource management is being handled by the resource manager. And Kafka has a different. So Yarn is a resource manager.
Hmm.
Yarn or Mesos generally. Or there are three types of Yarn, Mesos, or standalone. So,
Okay.
basically, so Yarn standalone is Yarn we can use, Mesos we can use, and standalone is when we have a single cluster and the Spark is application is running on that particular one, and that is only managing the memory or the resources, basically. Resource manager. And memory management, I'm not very sure, but I think it is being done by the driver, since it has the sole capability or of maintaining thing which resource, which particular executor has particular memory, and what particular partition can it handle, and all that stuff.
Okay. So in place of you told like yeah we can use Yarn, we can use Mesos. Can we use Kubernetes also there?
Yes, we can. Yes, Kubernetes is also resource manager we can use, definitely.
Okay. I have pasted one question. Just try to solve that in SQL.
Okay.
So this is like the first table. So whenever like the first row, you have to swap like the first row with second row. You can see like the first is swapped with second. Like Doris is swapped with Abbott.
Okay.
Similarly for the third one, like green is swapped with Emerson.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the last one is not swapped because it does not have a partner.
Hmm.
Uh, it is like single. So whenever you are having a count odd, then you do not need to swap the last. But whenever it's even, you have to swap every two consecutive ones.
Okay. Okay. So, and the IDs wouldn't be same, only the names would be changed, right? IDs
Yeah.
would remain the same.
Yeah, yeah. Names you have to say, IDs same.
Okay, cool. So what I will do here is, hmm, okay, so I will. I'm thinking on this line. Basically, I'll use a case statement.
Hmm.
and mm, first I will check the total count of it.
Okay.
If the count is an even number or an odd is an odd one,
Hmm.
but I don't think so it will matter. Yeah, it will no yeah. What I will do is hmm, I'll use a case statement on ID column and see if ID is this, then its position should be 2, right? Abbott should be 2 and this would be Doris should be 1.
Haha, you already have output, right? So you can
Yeah,
solve
yeah.
this all.
I'm just thinking on basically what I'm thinking is I can make another column on case statement and on
Hmm.
ID and add a particular column here, and by way of it I would at the end I would be able to multiply or do something so that student Abbott comes at Doris and Doris comes at Abbott and Emerson Green Emerson with that particular column, the newer column that I have.
Okay.
uh, so is that right? I'm going on right track? No.
Yeah, yeah. You can write the solution first.
Okay.
Just try writing it.
Okay. Hmm. I'm not sure if this syntax works here. Model 2.
That syntax is okay. It's for writing case statement.
Case ID modulus 2 is equals to 0, then case ID modulus 2 equals to 0. ID minus 1. Now I have created a new column here. Now I'm thinking to join it. Do a self join,
Hmm.
and self join I would do on the new ID column and this ID column, and get the student name of it. Hmm.
Okay. And you are just checking on even thing, right?
Yeah, even I have put in the case statement. So let's say if ID is equals to C.
Hmm.
Uh, oh, sorry,
Ah.
sorry. And I have also put a case here. And C mod 2 equals to 1. Sorry,
Hmm.
yes. And C mod 2 equals to 1, then ID. Then basically they have taken care of the last record here, if that is
Hmm.
odd. Else if ID equals to 2, then ID minus 1.
Hmm.
That's ID plus 1. Okay, so
Hmm.
let's say I'll just take it. So here it would be 2, it should be 1, now it should be 4 here, 3 here, and then here should be 5 only here. This.
Hmm.
Now I will basically do a self join on this
Hmm.
particular table and
Hmm.
get so this particular ID, this particular record, this particular record will join to this particular record, and by this I will take up the name of this particular ID column, this ID column,
Hmm.
ID 1 basically, and student name 2, and that is how I will swap it.
Okay.
Is it fine?
You are doing a self join with the first table and then joining it.
Yeah, basically I have created this table, this new ID
Ah.
CTC I have created.
Hmm.
So yeah, the first table, I'll just basically
Any simple way, you just have to arrange it, right?
okay. This I'll just write it and think of it any simple. So what I am thinking, yeah, I'll just join these two tables,
Hmm.
and then we'll get the basically this particular this ID from here and this name from here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any simple, right? Hmm.
You just have to, just a hint, like you just have to arrange it in a proper way,
Okay.
right? That's only
Hmm.
remaining right now, right? In SQL, if you have to arrange anything, what would you use?
If I have to arrange anything, okay.
You cannot use directly order by.
No, but how it will do? I will use.
You have ID, you have student.
Okay, okay. Eh, No, but these are not in order, right? The student names. These are not in alphabetical order or something like that. Anything
No,
like
no,
that.
I'm saying if you do just order by ID, then would it not create right solution?
Okay, in here you're saying
If you do just order by ID.
order by ID $8. Oh yes, yeah, yes, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, so you have to order it and it will be a solved, right?
Yes, yes. No, I just missed that part.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like you just have to arrange it right now.
Mhm.
Okay. One more question, like I thought of asking. So you were asking about deduplication. You were saying about deduplication and lot of things, right?
Mhm.
So I have one scenario. So just try thinking about that. So I'm typing it. Okay.
Mhm.
So for example, you have name.
Mhm.
You have address.
Mhm.
You have phone number.
Hmm.
Uh, you can take what's the personal information you can take.
Profile
Uh,
pic, email ID,
yeah, email you can take, and for example, let's
age,
go with hospital.
age. Okay.
Okay, so for example, there is one person whose address is X, for example, whose phone number is whatever it is, whose email would be something, and the hospital name would be, for example, XX. So he went to that hospital or clinic, that person, and he got registered. Okay.
Hmm. Okay.
And again, I'll tell you theoretically, but so again, this A person goes to different hospital and he will register again to a different hospital.
Okay.
This person moves to different city. He
Hmm.
register there
Hmm.
with the same information, let's say. But he goes to different hospital and he would register his name as A. He can put addresses different because he's in different country. Now the phone number is also different, email is also different, hospital is also different.
Hmm.
Okay. Again, he goes to a hospital and next time he doesn't puts up his phone number, he puts up his another same phone number or his wife phone number.
Hmm. Okay.
But A is only going. A is the person who is going and who is putting the information.
Hmm.
Okay. So he is going to multiple hospitals. So it is a duplicated data, right? If I
Yes.
get the information of, for example, A, it is a
Hmm.
duplicate. Why? Because, but every row doesn't seem like a duplicate,
Hmm. Okay.
right? The person is going to hospital. If he gives a different information, it doesn't looks like a duplicate,
Okay.
but it's a duplicate because it's the same person who got sick, and we have to just summarize this information in such a way that, like, what's the history of this patient. So
Okay.
there is an insurance company who gets to know ki, uh, why this person was sick, or they can decide a premium based on that,
Okay.
right? Term insurance or any premium they can decide based on his history. But if you go ahead with this information, this duplicate information, it would be an incorrect output, right?
Yes. Hmm. Okay.
So this can be anything can be different. Like for example, I go to same hospital 10 times. In 10 times I give different address, 5 times I give same address, 5 times I give same phone number, 5 times I give different phone number, or maybe in a hospital I give different email ID. So
Hmm.
you have to deduplicate this information, and you do not have to delete the information because this is not a duplicate, because I can have multiple phone numbers, I can have multiple email IDs, right?
Hmm.
So you cannot delete a duplicate row here.
Okay.
But this is a duplicate. So the question is, you have to deduplicate a data without deleting a data. So what can you do for that?
Okay. So this question is with respect to any deduplication or anything that we do in data warehousing or OLAP systems, or in general.
In general, like you have a data and you have to summarize this data, right?
Okay. Okay. So any and is there any particular identifier or any particular primary key that remains same while adding to the database? Let's say name can be there, ID can be there, which the person is bound to use that only.
No,
No. Okay.
because let's assume, like for example, you got the data from WHO.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you also got a data from some US board or something.
Mm-hmm.
You got some data from Germany.
Okay.
Got data from some Indian government.
Okay.
Okay. And when you mix up that data, there would be no primary key, but it can have same name and same kind of information. But you want the information of Kuldeep. How would you approach this problem? Like
Okay.
first step is think about how would you reduce a duplicate, because
Mm-hmm.
there are duplicates. I told you how it's a duplicate.
Okay. 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 Mm-hmm. But let's say there are 10 particular columns or 10 particular data points that we have for a particular entry for a particular row.
Hmm.
So any of that would be same, or any match of it would be same.
Huh.
Let's say
It can be same also. If I go to a hospital, if I give my same information every time, it's a duplicate.
no. If a person is himself trying to forge his documents or to do forgery, then anything can be done. Well, that is a problem that many companies face also. That is a real world problem. But yeah, matlab, because for any deduplication of any sort of information that we need to have certain set of keys. It can be composite key, it can be primary key, it can be a group of keys, what all. But that we need to be sure of, no? Okay, so this particular uh, identifiers, these particular identifier, let's say phone number combination, phone number and email combination would be similar, or
Hmm.
phone number can be same, or address can be same. Matlab, there can be certain sort of information, however the system won't know otherwise, right?
Yeah, but if you go to any like, for example, if you go to WHO, they cannot give you Aadhaar card for every person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be a data leak, right? Because that is like a private information of particular user.
Mm-hmm.
So think of it as like a you have to generate a key.
Okay, okay. So basically,
Like,
we
let's fix the problem of data security. Just think like, for example, if the data is there, how would you deduplicate it right now? You do not have to delete the data.
yes, that I got to know. We don't have to delete the total, just that we have to identify the duplicate persons. Let's say.
Hmm.
Okay. Mm,
Okay, I'll tell you. So you do not have to duplicate data. So what we will do is like we will just do a comma separated value for everything. Like for example, Kuldeep, if the name is same, you take a name as a key or name plus any other column as a key, like a composite key, and you just combine the data if you are getting the same data in that,
mm,
right? Now the data would be less, right? So now you need to like, I'll give you a hint like where you have to take a string similarity between the rows and then decide how it's a duplicate.
okay, okay, okay. So fraud detection, basically pattern, and okay. So string similarity can be one. Yeah. Yes. We so basically that we can have the percentage of similarity that we can have on based on certain columns or certain things.
Hmm. Yeah, that is correct. So you have to use a string similarity. In a string
Hmm.
similarity, you can use multiple things, but if you directly go with Python, just a solution is like you can use a deduplication library or other things also from ML, but the main is like you have to find a percentage of similarity between two and then go ahead. But there will be again a problem like when you use this kind of techniques like ML, deduplication, this kind of things, uh, you cannot decide a factor like maybe you will go with 80%, you will go with 70% matching, but
Uh-huh.
after that also you have to process that data, right?
Yes, yes, okay. So
Because right now we don't have a key.
exactly. No, we don't have any standard method. We don't have a key, or we don't have something. So we have to have some fraud detection ML algo
Hmm.
deployed.
So how will you generate a key after we have identified like these are the percentage? Then we will combine that with comma separated. Like for example, three values, three rows are matching. Then I will combine email with comma separated emails. Right? I can have three emails.
Yes,
So
yes.
that is like right now a single row because those three rows were matching.
Oh, okay. All the three emails combined to one particular email, and then next time we can basically do a pattern matching or something like that. So that for okay, the user comes up with any user that comes up with these three emails. which has the most percentage of this combined string, that is a duplicate. Okay, cool, got it.
So how would you generate a key? That's my question.
Okay, so key would be generated again. So a person can have a number of names, address, he can write anything. So basically I'll take those field basically to generate the key that are most difficult to get. So let's say a phone number, because
Hmm.
phone number, or an email ID, because uh, um, because anyways when these information would be added, there would be some sort of, let's say, I'm assuming there's OTP or a verification check that would have happened every time. So a person gets confined on these particular data points, phone number or an email ID, right? And also if the location can be one factor. So if a particular location, we can have a geographical border set over there. So key I would so just coming to a question, key I would generate with phone number and email.
Hmm.
Phone number and email combinations that we can have, because a person can have only n number of phones and emails.
Hmm.
We can have four or
So that
five phone.
you are saying we will go with like kind of a composite key.
Yeah, a composite key for with phone number and email combined, and we can have pattern matching over there.
Okay, got it. But these are keys, like they should be encrypted, right?
Yeah, they should be encrypted. These are keys. So Matlab, what is the question, sir?
Like for example, if you are creating a key, you will
Mhm.
be copy pasting a phone number or something to a key column. I'm saying to generate a key column basically. Like I
Okay,
got the composite key point, but if you have to generate a key for that, how would you do?
yeah, so we'll be using the hash function basically to basically combine these phone number and email, and then generating a hash out of it, and then
Hmm.
storing it in some another table, which is basically using this particular hash. And or we can treat this particular information as the PII data, and then mask it or something like that.
Okay, got it. Have you used UUID somewhere?
I have used, but yeah, not very extensively. Matlab, I have generated, basically these are generated only, and Python I have used in my previous company. Mm,
Okay, got it. So, you
it's a
if you have
hash.
used, like, I had one question on that. Like, you correctly told like it will be using hash function, but I remember that UUID also works on hash function. So, UUID is of different types, like UUID one, UUID two, UUID
Yeah,
three. So, any idea how it's different, or
no,
have you
no,
checked sometime? Okay.
no.
Yeah, those things also works on hash functions only, and that depends on like finally plus some internally works on your bucket names and all of those things, and then they encrypt through hash functions. Okay,
Okay.
so it was nice talking to you.